from coast to coast. Large protests erupting in cities across the country. Tensions rising 1 week after Hamas terrorists staged the deadliest attack on Israel in a generation.
What is the message to the Jewish community, not just here in New York, but nationally, globally, that's listening and wants to know what guidance, what to do next?
The message to the Jewish community and all who are friends of the Jewish community and supporters of Israel is the need for solidarity. Nothing would make us happier than if Hamas laid down their weapons and marched out of Gaza with their hands in the air. But in all likelihood, that's not going to happen.
1, 2, 3, 4, occupation no more.
Thousands of people in the streets of cities like Chicago, Houston, and Los Angeles, where NBC's David Noriega reports.
Here in LA, there are hundreds out marching in support of the Palestinian people. Many of them are Palestinians themselves with a personal stake in this conflict, including those who are struggling to stay in touch with their loved ones in Gaza.
Masmia says her fiance is in Gaza.
Have you been able to communicate with them?
Yes, I spoke with him last about 8 to 10 hours ago, but it's very difficult to get through because there's no internet, as you may know, and no electricity.
Overseas, massive protests in Germany, Pakistan, and India.
We want boycott! We want boycott! We want sanctions! We want sanctions!
Today in London, police deploying hundreds of officers on this pro-Palestinian demonstration with a warning. Anyone showing support for Hamas would be arrested. Law enforcement around the globe on high alert. France mobilizing 7,000 soldiers after a man fatally stabbed a teacher and injured 3 others. The attack being investigated by anti-terrorism prosecutors. President Emmanuel Macron saying the country had been a victim of Islamic terrorism. The U.S. emotions still high after days of rallies. In New York, demonstrators vowing to stay in the streets.
How many more days or how long will these protests continue, do you think?
We're going to be out in the streets every day, as long as it takes.
Late Friday, more than 60 people were arrested at a rally. The demonstrators making their way outside Senator Chuck Schumer's home. Some residents here remaining vigilant, saying safety is still a concern.
I'm Jewish. I live in New York, and I'm afraid of walking around in New York.
Tom, there's ramped up security at synagogues like the one behind me, as well as other Jewish schools and businesses. Now, here at Temple Emmanuel, senior leadership telling me that for the first time in a long time, they actually opened their doors to journalists for services on Friday to show the world that they feel safe and they are united through this tumultuous time. Tom?
And George, have officials said anything more about the threats to the U.S.?
Senior leadership officials, Tom, keep telling NBC News that they continue to monitor online chatter about threats to Israel, but it's strictly just that at this point. There have been nothing specific or credible. Still, the NYPD has been out in full force with uniformed officers. They're also utilizing many tools at their disposal, including drones and chopper at some of these large demonstrations we have seen in the past days. Still, law enforcement from around the world is asking the public to do their part and to stay vigilant and to report anything that appears suspicious. Tom?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.